And that's a big right-wing talking point. This is a big part of what they're about. So what's the truth about this? Because you go through in greater detail the
Yeah.
reality.
Okay. Well, I wrote a whole chapter on feminism, and
Right.
it wound up being my favorite chapter in the book. I learned so much, and it was the one that turned me on the most because there's so many examples of what a feminist Jesus was, but they tell you these stories as a kid before you're old enough to appreciate what they mean. Women have it bad in the Bible. Okay, I put it in two categories for Bible authors. Women are either property and or icky. When it comes to menstruation, oh my God, these men are really disgusted by the menstrual blood that gives life to all of us. What a mistake that awful menstrual blood is. And the entire book is a blueprint for how to shame women out of the public sphere for a solid 2,000 years. Let's point out that the Jews are way beyond the Catholics now. My God, Israel had women serving before America. Israel had a female leader before America. The Jews are doing great. The Christians are trying to drag us back to Old Testament. Then you get this guy Jesus come along, and he breaks all the rules. He is an outrageous feminist. Jesus broke so many laws of Orthodox Judaism. He talked to women. He talked to women who weren't Jews. This was illegal. He taught women, which was deeply illegal. He allowed women to touch him, which was completely illegal. The story of the bleeding woman. Sam Cooke did a great song. She'd been bleeding for a dozen years, and no treatments would help her. She heard Jesus was coming. It's a famous story. She goes in the crowd and she touches him, and he says, "Who touched me?" She goes, "Me." He says, "Oh, you're healed." Well, it's a nice story, but when you actually think about the circumstances, she was breaking the law by going out in public. This woman made everyone in the crowd ritually unclean, and by touching Jesus, technically, according to the law, she made Christ unclean in the eyes of God. Jesus turns around, doesn't judge her, doesn't condemn her, doesn't punish her. He calls her daughter. The only time in the Bible he ever calls anyone daughter, and it's a woman who just broke the law to make him ritually unclean. He forgives her. This woman violates the taboo. Jesus breaks the taboo. I can't believe right wing guys think this guy's on their side. He teaches women, which was illegal, constantly. The women are the first people Jesus appears to when he returns. And as I point out in the book, there's at least 3 women that go everywhere with Jesus. So you'd think there's 15 apostles. But the men who wrote the Bible said, nah, nah, 12 apostles, 3 groupies. Um,
Ah,
yeah, and
excellent.
Scorsese got that right in his movie. So then Jesus dies, Paul comes in, and now misogyny's back on the menu. So Charlie Kirk is quoting Paul, making women submit before him. That's all Paul, because they don't quote Jesus. Now, Paul, I had to write a whole chapter on, and I wasn't planning on doing it, but he's the guy who, better or worse, made Christianity what it is and ruined it for many.